racial bias and racial prejudice that happens. But I think that that's a strong point. Yeah.
So talk to me about that. I would love to hear that. So what has happened or changed to reduce racial bias?
Well, I think that you have a lot of social groups now that are advocating for Black rights and for different minority rights all over. I think that there's a stronger sentiment on prejudice and on the issues that we're facing in the society. And I think that, I mean, if you take like the military, for example, there's a large progression for EO and with that sharp policies that go into protecting the individualized soldier for, from hostile leadership or from attacks based on race, ethnicity, sex.
Right, but racial bias would be the way that they've just now changed the hygiene standards, right?
In terms of like they changed a number of things, but
right. So a lot of Black men have a condition, and even if it's not a medical condition, as to why they have to have a beard, right? So that's something, as I understand, within the last year that has changed in terms of what those requirements are. That is a racial bias.
Yeah, no. I mean, you can look at that way, and there is definitely an argument to be had there because, I mean, I'm a medic, so most of the shaving profile that I write are for the Black soldiers that come in.
There's a bias as to what is normal. So what I mean when I say bias, there's a bias to what normal is. So normal for Black men is not normal for white men. That's what I mean. That's the bias. And that the bias is that they're asking for some kind of, or it has to be some sort of special accommodation or special waiver for what is their norm. That's how racial bias.
It's not really done based on race with that, though. It's more so because, like, anybody can apply. So there's two ways to apply for a shaving profile, and it's either that you have a medical condition or a religious condition or situation.
Right, but let's get stuck because I don't want to get bogged down in the regulation. What I am saying is, what norm is it built on? Is it built on a norm that the majority of Black men have problems with ingrown hairs and those kind of things? Is it built around Black men's norms?
It's built on just overall that every soldier's not allowed to have beard.
But this is what I'm trying to get white people to understand. When we say every typically means white. When we say American, that means white. Because what I'm saying is, see, when I asked the direct question, were the standards built around the needs and priorities of Black men? Your answer was no. It was built for everyone, but it couldn't be because Black men are having to require this waiver.
It's not 100% of them. They are a little bit more effective.
I didn't say that it was 100%. We don't have to dance around 100%. Do you not understand the question I'm asking? If it was built around, I get what you're saying. Is that because the intuition. But what I'm saying is if it was built around the norms and needs of Black men, then it would be permissible. It would just be permissible. It wouldn't require something that the average white man doesn't need.
Too, you can't like build the regulation over a specific race. It would need to be.
But we do. I think that's what you don't understand. I think what white people don't get is that what you all call normal is white. Your normal is not the Black norm. Do you see what I'm saying? White people think normal.
I get what your argument is.
Oh, that's okay. Were you here when the guy was up here and I was talking to him about college? Were you here?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay, so here's what he said. He asked me what's something that's different because I went to college, right? And I said I went to college with 50,000 white people. He said, so what? What's the big deal? What's different? And I said, he said, give me one way that there's white privilege, right? And I said to him, my hair. And he said, what? What are you talking about? There's barbers and salons all over college towns. Follow me. Who do you think that those salons and barbers serve?
The community, but I'm guessing that you're saying that they're not directed towards African Americans.
They serve the community. Who's the community? See, I want y'all in the audience, I want you to listen, because his answer is not wrong. They were put there to serve the community. Now, who's the community?
The local college population.
Which are?
I know what I know what you want to say.
But why is it a problem just simply to state it? Why do you all struggle with that?
Because I don't agree with it necessarily. I can see the point.
The people that they serve is the community, and the community is white. Why do you all struggle with just simply saying that?
I think it's the formulation of how you're stating it.
But how am I stating it? How is what I just said not true? That they are designed to serve white. Hold on. You can't even hear what I'm saying. How is me saying a factual statement that they were designed to prioritize the needs of white students? Why is that a problem for you when that just simply is the fact?
Well, because that's factually incorrect. Nobody came together and had, we're going to
tell me how it's I want to listen. Tell me how what I just said is factually incorrect.
Because there's no basis to say it. They all had a great big meeting and said we're all just going to accommodate the white.
I didn't say that they had a meeting.
It was towards the community.
They had a meeting at all.
Came into that community.
So I didn't suggest that they had a meeting. I said that you said it. You said that they were there to serve the community. And I said, who's in the community? And you white people.
Because it depends based on the community.
I just told you I went to school with 50,000 white people. Did you miss that?
I don't know where that school was.
Michigan State University, 50,000 white people.
Well, it's in Michigan. A little bit different. If you go down to like Center City, Philadelphia, I mean, that's going to have a different population.
Sir, why are you changing the situation? The situation was I didn't go to college in Philadelphia. So why are we changing it to make it fit what you want rather than you just simply
said it right there.
The people were white.
Sir.
That is also anti-black. Yeah. Can you explain it to Ms. Wagner, Valerie, or
so Wagner? This is why separate dormitories are required.
No. Why am I being
This happened in 2017. This white woman was smearing her period blood on her roommate's, a black woman's property. This is why black people need black dorms.
And what are we doing?
Right. Yeah. This is why black people need black dorms.
I think that Valerie's explanation on it was a little bit more effective. I think that's a crazy, horrible example, but
it is.
I think it's
right. It's crazy to you that this Wagner, white woman was smearing.
Wagner, but do you know? But this is the experience of black students, and here's what's often difficult. Right? It's difficult because when black people explain these things that are happening to them, what they're told is, yeah, but that's not really a big deal, or that's not whatever. When I went into college, Wagner, got there, it's a bit, I don't know if you went to college or not, but if you go, when you're moving in, it's a very festive time. People are moving in, you know what I mean? The energy is high all around. So I'm doing all that. My mother has driven me to the school. I've gotten moved in. I meet my roommate. Her parents are there and our parents leave. I was not in the room with that girl 10 minutes. And here's what she said to me. My parents said that it's okay if you're black. But if you start bringing black guys around here, they told me to get the hell out. That was my introduction to this girl. Because the way that white privilege works is, as it does on here, she actually thought that it was simply her living with me, her accommodating me. Her parents are giving her instructions about how much accommodation she's going to give to me. Well, I'm going to rush the story to mid-year. I don't even think we made it to Christmas break. But she called me the N-word in the hallway. Now, why did she do that? She did that because she said I was a little too popular in the building and that I knew too many people in the building. I knew a bunch of black people. I knew a bunch of everybody. But the black people, like I told you, they were on different floors. They were in different places. I'm a very friendly person. So I had an active social life full of friends. And she said, I just think we shouldn't live together anymore. And you know more people than I do. So I think that you should leave. Girl, I ain't about to go nowhere. I'm going to stay right here. So what she did, sir, what she did on a daily basis, she would do things like unplug my things, hide my things. She would turn the stereo up. So if I turned it on, it would be blasting and blaring. She's doing all of these things. And I think my brother's still up here and he can probably tell you the peace story. I am about one of the most stubborn people ever. So the simple fact that I knew that she was trying to get me to react to her or get me to move is what assured me that I never would. Right? So when she got frustrated with that, she called me the N-word in the hallway. So when my daughter went to college, right? If I don't want my daughter to have any of those experiences, one of the things I can do, now my daughter didn't live in the black dorm, but if she had of, that's what I would have been protecting her from. And so my child who goes to school should get to go to school without having to sleep with one eye open because she lives with some crazy ass white girl. Now, am I saying that all white people are crazy? Nope, I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is that there is still this incredible racial bias and hostility towards black people and the idea that black people don't belong in any space that they inhabit. And there is a reaction that white people have to black people that they feel are taking up spaces that they shouldn't have. And so I don't want my child to have to deal with that nonsense at all. And I think that that would be fair. Why wouldn't it? How many times do you think that black children...
Hey, Miss Valerie.
How many times?
I just need a second to say goodbye because I do have to go to bed. I have to work tonight. And hold on. I just want to let you know that this Cascade person is up here to spread lies and misinformation about me and my character.
I have a clip.
And I am going to screen record this so that I can use it in my legal defense because that is the only reason why he is here. I just want you to know what's about to happen. But I love you. Thank you.
Stop misgendering. Told you that in the last live, you keep engaging in bigotry, but you want to call out white for being racist, and y'all gonna keep
Okay. No, hold on. This is not the place for that. This is not the place for that. You gonna have to hash that out somewhere else. This is Valerie's live. Is not the place for you to get out those grievances. I'm sorry it happened, but we're not about to turn this live into that. I'm so sorry, but not.
But
here.
you shouldn't be allowed to misgender me on the panel either.
No, I understand. I'm not saying who's right or wrong. All I'm saying is this is not the place to be hashing that out.
Yeah,
Valerie has nothing to do with that.
She can't do that and go uncorrected. Like, what are we? That's
weird.
weird.
We're not going to deal with the misgender. Here's what I'm going to need you to do, though. I'm going to need you to take that up in her inbox. You can't do it. I don't have anything to do with that. That is another adult woman.
I understand that. I was trying to address it and she muted me and then misgendered me. And then now that I'm trying to engage in it, y'all are silencing me. She dropped after misgendering me. She knows what.
She's not here.
She's not here. Bigotry.
God.
She is not here. She's gone.
So the aftermath. This is the aftermath. She knew exactly what she did.
No, we're not doing that.
The aftermath right
now.
Yeah,
we're not doing that here. That's all I'm saying.
This is not that kind of space.
Yeah,
no.
but there is
so you're not going to change it into a transgender conversation. You're not going to do that here, sir.
Yeah, we're not doing that in this space. I'm sorry. Whatever y'all got going on, it has to be hashed out between each other, not on Miss Valerie's space. That is not what we are doing.
Cascade, you can come back up. I dropped you. It wasn't anybody else. It was me. Because I get it. I get that you're mad and you're angry, but she's not here. It's not the conversation of today. I know that you go around the spaces just like I do. I don't have any problem with you being here, not one. And you know Auntie is in different spaces. She hosts lives. That's the place to take it. We're not going to be able to legislate it here. So I don't want to do that.
Hello.
That's all.
Hello.
Okay, Wagner. I think that we've given, right? And so what I'm saying is, so Wagner, so what I'm saying is the way that Black people are looked at for doing that for their children is seen very differently than when white parents feel that their children need to be protected, because white privilege is about the protection of white students. That's what it is. And so then if Black children, which is what my prompt is about, so if Black children don't automatically have that protection, how do we as parents then protect them?
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
You, first off, when you were, well, I guess, when did you go to school?
When was I in college? In the 80s.
Yeah. Okay. And
my daughter graduated 2 years ago.
Congratulations.
I mean, my daughter didn't graduate 2 years ago. My daughter graduated in May. What am I talking about? She just graduated in May.
Oh, well, more congratulations. What happened when you reported that person? And that's an awful experience.
Not much. Not much. Okay. We had to go to student court. She was required to move. She wasn't put out of school or anything.
No, I see the point that you're making with that. I think that
and so here, so let me give you this. What happened in the aftermath? What happened in the aftermath? A Black girl moved into my dorm room. That was in 1985-ish. That girl is still my friend today. So her being my roommate was a very different experience than me living with somebody calling me an N-word, right? Somebody being rude to my guest who came over because my guests were Black. So I have been out of college almost 40 years. And that girl, I've been in her wedding. She sang at my wedding. She just sent me the most lovely, best message ever on my birthday last Sunday. She's been my friend for 40 years. And she's been my friend for 40 years because a lot of what we experienced in that environment, right, bonded us for life. So there is a benefit to Black students having the opportunity to network with other Black students. It doesn't mean we don't like white people, because I'm still in a space with 50,000 white people. But if I get to go to bed and have 8 hours of sleep where I'm not having to worry about all this other stuff, that makes me a better student the next day.
I agree with what I agree with what you're saying. I think that, I mean, like I'm 28. I was born in 1997. I don't, I'm not calling you old. I wasn't even around during that. No,
I know you weren't, and that's why I said to you that my daughter just graduated in May. Yeah. Now, why did I tell you my daughter just graduated in May? Because my daughter graduating in May actually went to parties in the last. So she was just in college, right, over the last 4 years, not in the 80s, where she showed up to parties and they said she couldn't come in because she was Black.
Really?
That's just been in the last 4 years, where she went to something that was invitation only, and she went there with an invitation with the other girls that she went with, but her invitation was void because the people said that she couldn't come in because she was Black.
Well, when I look at stuff, I think what I would
but I want you to respond to that was 2024. That wasn't in the 80s.
Well, from everything that I've at least seen, obviously, like, I'm on the other side of the political aisle. So what I'm told is that there's tons of avenues, and that anything in that type of case, those people would be immediately ostracized by the larger community. And
it's a lie, because because the larger community believes the same way that they do. So I don't know who on your side of the aisle is telling you that. Let me tell you, as somebody who is Black, Y'all tell each other all kind of stuff that's just not true. People do not get ostracized for exercising or messaging out the things that white people think. They do not get ostracized. They most certainly, absolutely do not. And not only do they not get ostracized, here's what you always say. Well, that was one person. But if there were 100 people in there and a 99 didn't come and say that that person was wrong, then it's all 100.
No, I get that.
You all live in a fantasy land that Black people don't live in. And because you never have to actually listen to Black people, you are allowed to go through life believing in a reality that just isn't reality. And what you said to me was, well, what happened when you reported it? But doesn't that require me to do something? I'm just at school trying to go to school like anybody else. But now I got to file a formal complaint. Now I got to have meetings with different people. Now I got to do all of this other stuff. But my professors still expect me to turn my papers in on time. My professors still expect me to get my work done as if I didn't have all of this all night long. My professors don't really care that I am living with a bigot. Their expectation is that I perform like the bigots that I'm in class with.
Okay. But most of my thing that I've heard was from, I mean, like obviously like liberal outlets and stuff, when any type of like cancel culture and all that kind of stuff, when anybody makes any type of like effect or could be considered like a microaggression or something like that.
Yeah, when it's something egregious, but normal everyday white bigotry, don't nobody pay no attention to it because it's just normal. Black people just shrug it off their shoulders and keep moving.
I do have to go. I apologize. I genuinely enjoy.
You don't have to apologize. You can go. But I'm just trying to say that if you don't actually sit down and talk, so you said you're 27. My daughter is 24, right? So you all are in the same age range. She just went to college with people your age.
Yeah.
Right? So this is not something that used to be something somewhere else. This is something that still happens, which is why her college then created a Black dormitory.
One thing that I don't really like, or that I would like your opinion on with this is, so my idea is with, again, from the same like liberal outlets and stuff. I don't know. My thing is that I feel like conservative movements and more right-leaning movements, they push, and that's kind of why I have that mentality too, of that there should like Black or excellence and stuff. I get what, or at least I believe I get what you're saying through that, is that Black people, they need to work harder because of the society that they're in, and that they need to achieve a higher set of goals for themselves because of the situation that they're in. And I think that that's in the sense of like pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps, for like a mnemonic to use it. But
no,
I think
it's not like pulling yourself. It's not like pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps, because you're not talking about people who don't, excuse me, you're not talking about people who don't have on boots. You're talking about people who have done everything and have deserved access to the spaces that they are inhabiting.
No, but that they're working, like that they're relying off of their own.
Why would Black people need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps when they're sitting next to a white student that doesn't have the same intellectual capability? Why would it be that Black people need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps?
I didn't mean it in that way. What I meant it by is that I think that the liberal mentality into it is that Black people should be dependent on the system, and that they should be encouraged to continuously believe that.
On what system? Let's talk about, I know you said you have to go, but this is something that pisses me off. This whole idea that Black people, dependent on what system? What system? What is the system that Black people are dependent on? I would love to know.
I don't think that there should be. I don't think that there.
I
don't think there are. I think that what they earn is what they do for themselves.
Sir, you're talking about the liberal perspective is Black people should be dependent on the system. What system?
So social or not social security, food stamps, stuff like that.
Okay, you know that most black people are not on food stamps. You know that, right?
No, I don't.
So
Yes,
a very
I'm not saying I agree with
small,
it.
sir, a very small minority of black people are on food stamps. So what the hell does that have to do with black people? There are more white people on food stamps. Why are white people not said to be relying on the system when there are more white people on food stamps?
I'm not saying that I agree with
Sir,
that.
there are more white people on food stamps. Why is it when we have these talking points that the talking point is not that white people need to stop relying on the system?
I'm not trying to be argumentative with you. I don't know. I don't share that belief. My perspective
Wonderful.
is
I'm just
conservative.
asking, but I'm just asking you as a very smart person. If there are more white people, why are we only attaching this to black people are dependent on the system rather than white people? Do you understand what I'm asking you? What I'm trying
No,
to tell
I
you
get what you're saying. Yeah.
is that
I
even the best of white people, this is what I'm trying to tell you, will continually repeat racial bias, not understanding to be dependent. Why?